Sucks and I never tried suicide. Mine's fucked even more than I realize. Time's up, keep it moving when she arrives. If you've ever heard what I heard in my mind, never tried, you'll cry, that's a lie, you would die. I don't want to ever come down from a high, I'm in the best seat. From time and the next breed, if you come at me directly, don't need no one to defend me. Souls in a place of an I can't get to, don't fuck with the deadly. Moon waves and overseas, quick coats and overseas. Fuck those who don't believe, they will never want to admit I'm the best here for the mere fact that I've got ovaries. It's a woman's world, so to speak. Pussy you sour, never giving credit where it's due, cause you don't like pussy in power, venom. My, if you ever heard what I heard in the night, what fright must have been a parasite in my past life. I don't want to ever come down from a high. My soul was sending to the sky. Guess it's you and I, gone, but I'm feeling too alive, trying to get me out of spite. Someone's got to pay, I ain't talking big amount. Some kind of physical pain, some kind of traumatic shit. Niggas want to see dead bodies, probably not there, rolling with no automatic clips. Move the scatty, all erratic and shit. Niggas pussy licking batty your shit. Oh, you mad? They come at me, you prick. Make a move, better pattern it quick. I assume you'll be coming for blood. That makes two of us, that makes two of us. Venom. Night time today, like we roll trees, save lives and main minds will go deep. Oh, he wanting to get some soul chill. Part of the day in the life you won't see. Part of the day in the life you can't be here for. It's a day in the life for OGs. To the wave and the demons I won't leave. Not a word you will listen when my soul speaks. Down I go. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Actually don't follow me, nobody bother me. I'm a mishonesty, fuck your policies. They wanna kick me down and demolish me. Use me and fucking abolish me. I don't wanna hear no apologies. Or I'm a young head, can't tell anymore. Psychotic to the death when I dig deep. I can never find that I left. It's a mystery, rage, nothing but rage. Can't figure out if I'm going insane. Ain't no doubt, but we're showing no mercy. So think twice if you wanna get placed. Nothing ain't nice round here, no games. I don't wanna dart nobody in a flash. Truth is to stick up, hands in the air, put the money in the bag, all cash, venom. You'll cry, that's a lie, you would die. I don't want to ever come down from a high, I'm in the best seat. Life sucks and I never tried suicide. Mine's fucked even more than I realize. Time's up. Keep it moving when she arrives. If you've ever heard what I heard in my mind, never tried, you'll cry, that's a lie, you would die. I don't want to ever come down from a high, I'm in the best seat. From time and the next breed, if you come at me directly, don't need no one to defend me. Souls in a place of an I can't get to, don't fuck with the deadly. Moon waves and overseas, quick coats and overseas. Fuck those who don't believe, they will never want to admit I'm the best here for the mere fact that I've got ovaries. It's a woman's world, so to speak. Pussy you sour, never giving credit where it's due, cause you don't like pussy in power. Venom. Venom. My, if you ever heard what I heard in the night, what fright must have been a parasite in my past life. I don't want to ever come down from a high. My soul was sending to the sky. Guess it's human eye. Gone, but I'm feeling too alive. Trying to get me out of spite. Someone's got to pay. I ain't talking big amount. Some kind of physical pain. Some kind of traumatic shit. Niggas want to see dead bodies. Probably not there running with no automatic clips. Moving scatty, all erratic and shit. Niggas pussy licking batty your shit. Oh, you mad? They come at me, you prick. Make a move, better pattern it quick. I assume you'll be coming for blood. That makes two of us. That makes two of us. Venom. Night time today, like we roll trees, save lives and main minds will go deep. Oh, he wanting to get some so chill. Part of the day in the life you won't see. Part of the day in the life you can't be here for. It's a day in the life for OGs. To the wave and the demons I won't leave. Not a word you will listen when my soul speaks. Down I go. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Actually don't follow me, nobody bother me. I'm a dishonest, fuck your policies. They wanna kick me down and demolish me. Use me a fucking abolish me. I don't wanna hear no apologies. Oh, but I'm a young head, can't tell anymore. Psychotic to the death when I dig deep. I can never find that I left. It's a mystery, rage, nothing but rage. Can't figure out if I'm going insane. Ain't no doubt that we showing no mercy. So think twice if you wanna get blazed. Nothing ain't nice round here, no games. I don't wanna dart nobody in a flash. Truth is to stick up, hands in the air, put the money in the bag, all cash, all cash. Venom.
Woo! Say that shit, girl. Say that shit. I love that song. That's Venom by Little Sims. I do not own the rights, title, words, or anything to that piece of creativity, but I just love it. Oh my goodness. You know what? I meant to come on earlier to do this live. I wanted to like go back into where I left off last night. Maybe not too much into the boy, I tell you, the uterus fibrosis and all of this with them taking black women's wombs, whether they're have children or not. Boy, I tell you, oh my goodness. But you know, there was some other people on YouTube that I'm subscribed to who had lives, and it was very interesting, and I just wanted to watch the lives, right? So I watched like 3 lives today, and they were all back to back. So I'm glad they weren't all at the same time. It was like some right when one was ending, another one had started, like, just for a few minutes. And so, but these are channels that I normally that I watch, right? And they were good today. I actually, clicked the like button on those videos, and I put it in my liked playlist. So if you go on my channel, you'll see them in there, right? So all of these lives were done today. I was gonna come on earlier, but the first live was like early, and I was like, okay, let me just sit, and I had to listen. It was good, and the other one, it was good. Like uh desperate black women showing up to a single mixer, and it was only like 5 dudes, only 5 dudes that showed up, and like I wouldn't call them desirable, but to each his own. Desperation, boy, I tell you, desperation breeds contempt. I said that already. I think I even made a video about it. But that one, it was good. It was just sad as fuck though. Like it's just sad. Like I done told y'all already, like y'all really need to, like, you have to begin fixing yourself. You're like, so, and I'm speaking of the mother of humanity, your mind is like so fucked up. Your mind, your body, and your spirit, they're going east, north, south, and west. Like they're not together. Your chi is not together. It's not in harmony and in cooperation. Like your head is so fucked up. you shouldn't even be thinking about trying to partner with anybody. That's like what I've been saying in a lot of my videos, and even my rant videos, my esoteric rant videos. I've been saying that you don't need to partner. I mean, you don't need to partner with anybody. You need to like really fucking fix yourself. Like for real, for real. You need to fix yourself. And like the state that you people are in, yes, I say you people, but the state that you people are in, it's gonna take it's not gonna it's not gonna happen overnight. Okay? It's not gonna happen overnight. It's just not gonna happen overnight. Like you really need to detox from all the toxic organisms in your environment. That is anyone who is, toxic, whether they're family, friends, it don't matter because, just because you're related don't make you family. I think I said that the other day. Toxic people, you want to stay away from toxic people. You want to detox from toxic people. You want to detox from penis. I'm telling you, like y'all, boy, I tell you, that was just so sad to see them women. All of them showed up, and it was only like 5 dudes. And then the dudes that showed up, I mean, one of them that came dressed like he was like 16 in the baseball cap with a t-shirt and jeans, he looked like he could be bisexual. And then the other they had the other two of one was like on the heavy set. All of them had like uh most of them had like bald heads and these beards. I hate those beards. I can't stand them. You know what they remind me of? Remember that movie The Wiz with Michael Jackson and uh, uh, Diana Ross and Michael Jackson. Remember the flying monkeys? I swear to God, I swear to God, they look. I swear to God, boy, I tell you, I swear they look just like the flying monkeys. Okay, like for real, for real. Like I can't stand them beards. And then you ain't a man is not supposed to even be wearing a beard until he's ascended. Only like a sage can do something like that. Like for real, for real. But I'm not even gonna get into that. I can't stand them bushy ass beards and ugh. Like and not only that, but that shit is very unsanitary. Dude over here with his bushy ass beard, with his head between your legs and then between somebody. Oh, child. Mm-mm. Anyway, that was just a shame, and it was embarrassing. Like being that I'm in the skin that I'm in, I can't escape. Like I can't really like separate myself from you Negroes until like I'm in a situation where I can separate myself from you Negroes and then tell the other people like I'm not like them Negroes over there. But sitting here watching that shit, in my own space and everything, it's like that shit is just embarrassing. I felt embarrassed. Like I felt really embarrassed. All them women out there for a single mixer, like child, fix yourself. Child, fix yourself. And only 5 dudes showed up. Only 5 dudes, and they were black. It wasn't no Asian dudes that showed up, no white dudes that showed up, no Latino dudes that showed up. They were all, and I think it was one biracial. It was one biracial, and the rest of them were black dudes. Boy, I tell you, that's just so embarrassing. That is so sad. What was the title of that video? It was called what was that shit called? It was Pick Me's at a single mixer. Oh my god, that was just so sad. Ugh. And then there was another video called Juneteenth and Gay Pride Month. That was very, very good. Yeah, strong and humble and here to learn. I was gonna do this live like much, much earlier today, but there was some other lives that came on YouTube and I had to watch them because I'm subscribed to these people and I just had to watch them. Plus I wanted to finish what I started on Juneteenth. on Saturday. And still, this is still a Juneteenth weekend. So I just wanted to pick up where I left off yesterday with the Great Migration and Negroes moving up north after all of their towns been burned down. But there was some very interesting videos on here today. I was like, oh my God. I was talking about the one with the single mixer. All these black females showed up. Boy, I tell you, and only 5 dudes showed up. It had to be like 100 women there. It had to be like 100 like women there. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that was just so embarrassing. And then there was another video called it was called Juneteenth and Gay Pride Month. Now, I think that's the young lady who I spoke about before. Like, I'm subscribed to her channel, and she seemed like she trying to find her way and everything. A lot of things she talk about is, due to her own observation in her immediate environment and her experiences. So I appreciate that. She's trying to find her way out here. As a young woman, mother of humanity. Of course, I don't ever agree what these people, yes, I said these people, say about politics, because at that point they don't like really know what they're talking about. Like, again, I'm gonna advocate that everybody get a political education from Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. You know what I'm saying? But and I'm also gonna get into that. The politics, because you got people like Tariq Nasheed and that other girl telling people that they shouldn't vote. And like I said yesterday, you got so-called black women, yes, strong and humble. Yes, I'm gonna get into that. Some did go out west into California and Midwest. Yes, yeah, I'm gonna get into that though. But you do have well, anyway, with Yvette Carnell, get your political education from her. I suggest everybody do that. You got people like Tariq Nasheed and the other girl telling people not to vote. And then, like I said last night, I'm gonna reiterate, all the people that's losing their apartments are so-called black women and the homosexuals that they got shacked up with them and their children. Like in New York City, even before the pandemic, in New York City, the majority of the homeless here are the youth. The majority of the homeless are the youth, right? And I think I already gave, well, I think they took that down, but I did give some numbers that here where I'm at in New York City, the majority of the homeowners, um 48% of the homeowners here in the 5 boroughs in the New York City are immigrants, and 54% of head of households of, and we already know who that is, right? Mother of humanity, black women, so called. 54% head of households are homeless, and head of households mean that you have children involved, right? Homeless, 54%. Those numbers were before the pandemic. That was like 2019. So you could imagine now what it's like, right? Like 2 years later, damn near 3 years later, you could imagine now what it's like. And it's not just here in New York, but I've been seeing all over the country all of these women with Section 8, losing their Section 8, or not losing their Section 8, but losing their apartments because the landlords want to raise the rent. And Section 8, which is a HUD funded government program, will not pay the X amount of rent for those Section 8 vouchers. And it's like I said last night, like, I'm pretty sure all of them that got those Section 8 vouchers don't vote. And instead of going to the fucking news channel and exploiting themselves and exploiting their children, talking about how they gonna feed their children, how they gonna, where their children gonna sleep. Instead of exploiting their children, they should have took their ass to the fucking polls and voted. They should have been trolling politicians. That's what they should have been doing. That's what they, because I damn sure I troll them. I troll politicians for all of my needs, but I got that from my immigrant family side. All immigrants come over here and do that. We troll these politicians. That's how we get down. American descendants of slavery don't do that. And that's something that they stopped doing after Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were murdered. You know, they just stopped doing it. But I just wanted to just briefly talk about, those were some good videos though. The one about the sad ass women, 100 women showing up and only 5 dudes showing up to the single mixer. And I know them dudes were happy because the way these black women are, they'll share penis. They don't care. They'll share the penis. So I know them dudes was happy, like, we going home today with like 10 on this arm and 10 on that arm. Cause I'm sure them chicks wouldn't mind sharing. Cause if not like I would do anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to like meet anybody. And even in my youthful days, I didn't like do any goddamn single mixers. You understand what I'm saying? I just didn't do that. But even if I did, I'm just saying, even if I did and I showed up and I seen like 100 women and only fucking 3 dudes, I'm just walking the fuck up out of there. It don't make any sense for me to just stay. Who the fuck is that? You that bored? You asking stupid questions? Anyway, I don't have any uncles. I don't have any uncles. But anyway, um I would have just walked up out of there. I would have just walked up out of there if it was like only 3 dudes up in there. You know what I'm saying? So those fucking videos were good. The one with the Juneteenth Gay Pride Month, the one with the single mixers, and the one with there was Lance Curve video. He had a Sybil on there. I like his channel because once in a while he'll bring a Sybil onto his damn channel and will do a live, so, and that one was good today. That It's been a while since he had a Sybil on his channel, so that one was good. And then after I saw that video, I was about to freaking come on and do the live and finish like what I started for the Juneteenth weekend. But then, damn it, one of the Manosphere videos popped up in my damn news feed. It's one of the white Manosphere videos that I'm subscribed to, because I be just seeing what they talking about. But anyway, I also like that video, and I also put it in my liked video playlist. And come to find out, they did like or they how you say, they uploaded a video from another website. I guess it's a Christian website. I don't know. Is the name of it was Church Militant. Boy, I tell you, this damn video was about Jesse Lee Peters being a damn sexual male groomer and predator. Talk about how gay he is. Boy, I tell you, I had to watch that. I watched the full 30 minutes. Oh my God. And the crazy thing is that, okay, I think it all started with his first lover, right? And it was about 7 people who accused him of being a sexual groomer and a male predator, a male sexual groomer and predator, like he's gay, right? So it was about 7 white dudes, right, and 1 white Latino, or 2 white Latinos. Well, I think the other one was probably Brazilian. He could have, because his last name looks kind of like Brazilian, something like that, right? But it was 2 white Latinos and the other 5 were like white, just like white people. Let me tell you something, boy. I tell you, 2 of them look like meth heads, including the first one that fucking accused Jesse Lee Peterson of being gay and grooming him into having sex with him at the hotel. Boy, I tell you, all of them were gay. You could like tell all of them were gay. And it goes back into what I was saying in my first fucking video, June, that I did on Saturday. What was that? Juneteenth, white supremacy. I ain't black no more. I want to be white. That was the first one I did on Saturday. It goes back into what I was talking about, how the mother of humanity is so, look, boy, you got to go back and watch that video. And also, it also made some points about with the other video that another person did. I put it in my like playlist. It's on my channel. You can see them. I put all of them in that like playlist. Um Gay Pride Month and Juneteenth. Boy, I tell you, yo, this, I'm telling you, they tried to make him look like, listen, I'm not defending Jesse Lee Peterson, but it just ties into what I was saying, right? They try to make him look like, you know, the Catholic priests that go around molesting boys. Catholic priests like boys. Catholic priests don't like grown ass men. Jesse Lee Peterson apparently was fucking with whole grown ass men, not little boys. I'm talking about grown ass men. Okay? 28, 29, 30, 31. And then some even older than that, and all white. Remember when I told y'all in that video that white people don't like Kevin Samuels was just projecting the black gay male community onto black women when they was saying that, oh, you 25, you hit the wall. And I was saying it's really that they're 25 and they booty ain't good no more, especially to the white men. And Jesse Peterson is like almost damn near 80 years old, y'all. He like 79. He like 79. This dude is old. So when he was like the white dude, look, they try to make him, they try to compare him to a Catholic priest who like little boys, but all of these men on the panel were whole grown ass men. The one that came out first, Jesse Peterson knew him for 30 years, started fucking with him or started fucking him when he was 31 and Jesse was like 49. So it was an 18-year difference. But still, this fucking dude he was fucking at 31 was a whole grown ass man and he was gay. Like you can, like these, I told y'all these dudes, I told y'all these dudes are gay. It don't matter if they married or not. They like black fucking booty. I said that shit. I said that shit. They like black booty. It don't matter if they married or not. And as a matter of fact, the first one that came out, who's 31, Jesse Peterson actually baptized him. And I think either married him and his wife, who is a black wife, by the way. Okay. The dude who accused Jesse Peterson of here, let me show this. I want to show this. The dude who accused Jesse Peterson of of he accused him of the first dude who came out and accused Jesse. I mean, y'all have to watch it because it looks like, you know, they're trying to make themselves seem like victims when they are whole grown ass fucking men. Whole grown ass man, and all of them gay. All of them gay. All of them gay. So I don't want to hear, boy, I tell you, like you gotta watch it, you gotta read between the lines, you gotta look at the facial expressions and the body language when they're talking and when they're not talking. I'm telling you, boy. And then the crazy part, yo, Remember, I told y'all about the book that's used on all college campuses across the United States, all college and universities across the United States. The delectable Negro and human consumption, sexual culture in U.S. slavery. Let me see, because I'm gonna put that shit right back up. Delectable Negro by Vincent Woodward. Y'all, remember when I was telling y'all that I believe that Tariq Nasheed and Tommy Sotomayor, all of their fucking super chat supporters are fucking white supremacists that come online and support them like this stupid ass just came on my damn I'm so bored person with, you know, they come on with shit like that and they throw them super chats. They fucking white supremacists. I'm telling you, they fucking white supremacists. Those are not black people. Because black people don't got no money like that, right? Especially Negroes. We already know Negroes ain't got no job. They said that Negroes is costing the black community, you know, $50 billion. So who you really think throwing them fucking super chats? I'm telling you, is white fucking supremacists. It's them. Where's here it is. Okay. I'm copying the name of the book again because I'm putting this shit in the link because I was talking about that. The delectable human, the delectable Negro, black ass gay males, and these white males like black booty. The delectable Negro, human consumption and homoeroticism within U.S. slave culture. These white men love black booty because I be hearing these black women, so-called black women, all over YouTube talking about, yeah, the black man want white penis. He jealous of the black woman because he want white penis. He want white penis. Yeah, he do want white penis, but I'm telling y'all, it go both fucking ways. I didn't let my sons watch that movie. I love Quentin Tarantino. They ain't never saw Pulp Fiction. But I'm telling you, this is what they like. They like to Pulp Fiction Negro males in their fucking basement. I'm telling you, these white supremacist Confederate flag wearing mofos. Listen, one of the dudes in the documentary they said was a stout supporter of Jesse Lee Peterson. And one of the other gay dudes that accused him of trying to sexually groom him and be a predator on top of it. And he was an old white, he was old, he wasn't even young. And I think the reason why they came out is because the first dude, the one who been with Jesse Peterson for like 30 years, since he was 31 years old and married that black woman. I think he got mad because Jesse got him a younger thing. You know what I'm saying? He got the white Latino. He after 30 years, after he been with him for 30 years, and now he's 61. Jesse went. It was like, I don't want your old 61 ass no more. I'm gonna get me a young thing. So he went and got him a young thing, and he got him another 28, 29 year old young thing, white Latino. Boy, I tell you. Oh my God, this is just so fucking funny to me. But the one of the old white gay dudes on the panel that was accusing allegedly, right? Jesse Lee Peterson of being trying to sexually groom his old ass and trying to get some ass, right? Or penis or white penis or whatever, right? The one he said that he caught Jesse in the bed with this bald-headed white dude with them freaking beards that I don't like. Oh my God. He said he caught them in the bed together, right? And the one that he caught in the bed with Jesse is actually the one that defends Jesse to the bone. Pun intended. I'm having a good time with this. Yo, pun intended, right? This white boy support Jesse to the bone. And when they, and I think he's a part, Jesse Lee Peterson got uh a nonprofit church called Bond. And you know how white people are. When they want to get back at you, they fuck with your pockets. That's exactly how they get down. They fuck with your pockets. They don't care about nothing else. So that's what they trying to do. I don't. That's what they trying to do. They trying to fuck with his pockets because one of them even mentioned. I didn't even know this dude had this church called Bond, a nonprofit agency that was getting all this fucking money. Yeah. So he mentioned that shit. So I was like, oh, okay, they just trying to hurt his pockets. But that's what white people do when they get mad at you. They hurt you in your pocket. They will strip you down of your last Abraham Lincoln penny. Okay. They will do that. But the dude who is a stout bone supporter of Jesse Lee, the one that the old, I was about to say the F word, the one, because I say that privately, the same way white people say nigger when, they're private in their own home. I say the F word when I'm talking about these gay males, right? So anyway, um, the dude who the gay guy, who the old gay guy, and he's younger than the old gay guy too. I'm not sure how much younger. He looked like he could be like, maybe 40, in his 40s, but he also works within Jesse Lee Peterson's church, his nonprofit organization that's making all of this money, right? So the dude that he caught him in the bed with, boy, I tell you, they showed a quick snapshot of him in the studio because he also runs the podcast studio for Jesse Lee Peterson. So not only is he a bone stout supporter, but he also runs. He's like his studio producer for the podcast. Boy, don't you know when they showed that fucking shot of this. Boy, I tell you, he had the motherfucking Confederate flag on his goddamn laptop. Oh yeah, y'all gotta go watch that shit. I caught that shit. I was like, yeah, he be Pulp Fiction in Jesse Lee Peters in his motherfucking basement. Just like I told y'all. Let me tell you, look, y'all better peep game. You know what I'm saying? I peep game before mofos run that shit. All right. Y'all better peep game. Go back and listen to my first video on Juneteenth that I did on Saturday, June 18th. Okay. So yeah, so when I saw that just confirmed everything for me. I was like, yeah, he got the fucking the Confederate flag on his motherfucking laptop, and he was caught in the bed by another, I was about to say that word, by another gay male with Jesse Peters. And the gay male, the way he was talking, like he was how you say, what's that word? Jealous, envious. They all said, especially the first one, the one that's married to the black woman. Boy, I tell you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, boy, I tell you. I just got your message. Okay. So boy, I'm having a good time with it. But y'all gotta watch that video. Oh my god, it's on my playlist and like videos. But it's just like I told y'all. I'm telling y'all, Tommy Sotomayor and Tariq Nasheed, all of their supporters are just like that dude that like to Pulp Fiction Jesse Peters in his basement. I'm telling you, Confederate white supremacists. But anyway, moving right along. Oh my God. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. Yup, that video was in the white manosphere. Okay. But it's in my playlist, in my light playlist. So y'all go and watch that. So I just want to go back to what I was talking about yesterday. I think I left off with the Great Migration. I'm not gonna get into the black women and all the vasectomies. They're getting the most vasectomies. In the world, and the gay community and white women that can't have babies are getting these implants and the implants, uterus wombs that they're getting are black women's wombs, who they say, your stuff is disease, we got to snatch it out of you, but then they'll go and put it in somebody else, right? A white gay male, a black gay male, or a white female that can't have children. And it's just crazy, because I'm telling y'all, this war is about the mother of humanity. It's not about the black man. It's not about him. It's about the mother of humanity. Boy, I tell you, that video, hashtag RWS did, that's in my playlist, called Juneteenth and Gay Pride Month. That was very good. Y'all should listen to it. Y'all should listen to that too. But go back into my video from last night. I put in the link. It was Queen Afua who I was talking about, not Queen of Farmer. It was Queen Afua I was talking about, who I suspect got these women getting all of these hysterectomies. And I also dropped the link for Dr. Jewel Pookrum. So yeah, if you can go back to that video from yesterday and get that link from Dr. Jewel Pookrum. And like I said, she's a medical doctor, even though she's very spiritual. She's a medical doctor. She went to medical school in the United States, okay? And she be dropping some jewels. So yeah, if you can get a chance to listen to anything she got to say, you'll be blessed, right? So I dropped those links in yesterday's video. So I just wanted to finish, because I was talking about the Great Migration, and how American descendants of slavery, they, all of the communities that they built with their hands, all of the Black Wall Streets that were all across the United States, because they were all across the United States. It wasn't just Tulsa. Like these demons just want you thinking about like one place in time, but no, American descendants of slavery were doing good all across the United States with their own communities. They were actually, for a lack of a better word, they were segregated. They didn't have to go into nobody's community for anything, because they had everything right there. Furniture, pianos, doctor, lawyer, dentist, everything was right there. They didn't have to go, anywhere else to get anything they needed. They built their own communities. And then, like I said, white supremacists, they have the liberty to do whatever they want. This is why I said fuck a freedom. I don't want freedom. I want liberty. Liberty or death. Fuck that shit. And that's real fucking talk. I want liberty. I don't want freedom. Freedom isn't shit. Like, you just got the freedom to just stay black and die, basically. Because like, you still living in a sharecropper's reality. So basically you're still a slave, because you're still living the reality of a sharecropper. You can't go nowhere. You being thrown out of your home. You can't afford the gas. You can't afford the food. You can't afford the rent. You can't afford the water bill. You can't afford the light bill. You can't afford to feed your children. It's like y'all are the only ones complaining about that. Nobody else is complaining about that. Like, for real, for real. Nobody else is complaining about that. Nobody else. I mean, I even see these so-called black women excellence people on here talking about that. Like, nobody is complaining about that except for y'all. Like, for real, for real. Nobody else. Nobody else. So when the ADOS built all of these little black Wall Streets all across America, and they took the one we had over here in Central Park down in 1858. That was even before the Emancipation Proclamation. They got rid of them Negroes. And then after they got rid of them Negroes in Central Park, they spent $14 million to fucking make that shit into a park. Because it wasn't really even a park. It was just like a piece of land in central Manhattan. Like, right there, smack in the middle of motherfucking Manhattan. From, I think, 83rd Street to 89th Street. So they spent money, a lot of money after they threw them Negroes out to build that park, you know? So yeah, so this is just so sad because like they built all of this stuff and then to have it, destroyed by white supremacists because these people, like I said, they got the liberty to do what the fuck they want, when the fuck they want to do it, and there's no consequences to that. There's no consequences to whatever they do, you know, especially if they doing it to American descendants of slavery. Like I said, that used to be the laws across states in this country. Like it was like actually written in the law that, no white man will ever be punished for doing anything to a black person. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't, and also they wasn't just lynching black men. There was like hundreds and hundreds of black women that were also lynched, the mother of humanity. Not only were they lynched, but they were lynched while they were pregnant and they had their the fetus, the baby in the womb cut out while they was hanging on a tree. Yeah, these are white supremacists. These are white supremacists, you know. So they just burnt down everything, destroyed it. The government helped them with the bombs and everything, bomb shit, flooded towns because a lot of black communities are also underwater, under lakes, with lakes across the damn country. Not non-natural lakes. These lakes weren't even natural. They were man-made lakes. You know what I'm saying? They were man-made lakes, like for real. Because they used to be like black towns. So people like this, what happened was, like when, like I said, you got to understand the mindset. Like it was a different time, even though black people minds are fucked up now. Like it's really fucked up. Like all of them suffer from mental illness, not just the black men, but the black women too. They all of them suffering from mental illness, PSTD, anxiety, depression. You know what? And not to be funny, but even the mother of humanity at Fordham University up here. I remember a few years ago, she did a paper. She did not a dissertation, because I think she's a law professor. She's a law professor at Fordham University. And a few years ago, I think like in 2018, she wrote, how they gotta write, like, they gotta publish it. You know what I'm saying? If you're like a PhD professor working at a university, every so often you got to publish it. So what she decided to publish that year, I'm not trying to laugh, but what she decided to publish that year was that black people should fucking put in applications to the federal government for SSI, for SSI checks. Yup, because it was what she said, being black was a disability in and of itself in America. Basically, that's what she said, and that all black people suffer from mental illness, from one extreme to the other, men and women. That's what she said. She didn't just, say black dude. She was like every fucking body just need to go and put in an application to Social Security for SSI because you're disabled. That's what she published. I was like, wow. Well, you got to publish something when you PhD and you working at a university. And I was like, wow. And they actually, I think they published that in the Fordham newspaper, Fordham University. Fordham University is a prestigious university here in New York City in the Bronx, for anybody who don't know. So yeah, so imagine, this law professor, the mother of humanity, writing this paper now in the 21st century. So you got to understand, in the 19th century or in the 20th century, people were traumatized just coming out of slavery, and then even when they was coming out of slavery, they were still terrorized, by domestic terrorists. You understand what I'm saying? Like you got to understand that. And then, not only were they terrorized by domestic terrorists, but they was pushed out of their home. They were pushed out of their home. And these people did this intentionally. So that's when the Great Migration began in 1910. So I did say it was like over a decade, but it was actually, the Great Migration was actually over several decades. So that's my bag. I'm correcting that right now. The Great Migration was from 1910 to 1970. And remember, I told you that here in New York City, where I live, I don't know about like Chicago, because the Great Migration, they didn't just migrate to the northern territories like New York, New Jersey, Chicago, right? They were all from the South, but some of them came to went to Midwest and Western states. So Midwest would be like Texas, you know, I don't know what else would be Midwest. I'm just, I'm like your typical I'm your typical dumb American. So I don't even know what a Western state is. I guess it would probably be like California, Nevada, I don't know. And Midwestern states. The only Midwestern state I know is Texas, right? And then Western states. So they moved to Western states and Midwestern states. So if you're good in geology or anything, just put in the chat or put in the comment section what would be a Western or Midwestern state. I don't know. But this is where they migrated to, right? And up north, like New York, New Jersey, Chicago, like that. And so remember when I told y'all that all the projects that they built in New York City, I don't know about Chicago, I don't know about New Jersey, I don't know about Western states, and I don't know about Midwestern states. I just know about, here in New York, because this is where I was born and bred at, right? I was born and bred here in New York. So and I know the history of my city and my state. Like I know it better than I probably know all of American history. Like for real, for real. But here in New York, they built the projects in the 1940s. When they built the projects in all the boroughs, it wasn't for white people. The projects were for the immigrants, not the black immigrants. It was for the Latinos, like the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans. It was for the Jews. It was for the Irish, and it was for the Italians. Remember, I put in the yes, Detroit. Oh, that's Midwest. Okay. Well, I learned something new. Thanks. Detroit. All right, all right. Cause I ain't got a damn clue. Okay, shit. I ain't got a damn clue. I ain't even gonna front. But thanks for that. I just learned something. I just learned something. Thank you very much, Strong and Humble. So what was I saying? Yeah, so they built all the projects, and it was for the Jews, the white Latinos, like like the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans, right? The white Latinos. Well, not even the Dominicans. When I was coming up, the Dominicans were like just as dark as I was. That's kind of changed today. But when I was coming up in the 70s, I know like certain places we would not go to because we didn't fuck with them. We didn't fuck with them Dominicans. We didn't do it because they had this reputation that they just bash your head in. Like New York, it was just like full of gangs, and it was gangs of all people. Okay, it was like you had the Italian gang, you had the Dominican gang, you had, well, I guess the Jewish gang kind of, they had a Jewish gang, but it wasn't like as ruthless as the Irish gang and the Dominican gang and the Latino or the Puerto Rican gang. the even the Chinese gang. You had the Chinese gang, the Vietnamese gang in Chinatown. I remember back in the day, like shit. Look, I was born and bred in Brooklyn, and I'm gonna tell you right now, boy. I'm gonna tell you right now that yo, niggas would not go across the bridge to Delancey and fuck around in Alphabet City. That Alphabet City is what it was originally called. Alphabet City is now what they call the Lower East Side Manhattan. Okay, and that's right next door to Soho. Y'all probably heard of Soho. But yeah, and it's called Alphabet City because all the streets are named ABCD, right? It goes up to we got Avenue A, Avenue B, Avenue C, and Avenue D, right? So all the avenue blocks with the letters of the alphabet was called Alphabet City, even though now it's called the Lower East Side. But back then, I'm telling you, and niggas from Brooklyn wasn't scared of nothing. Cause like, Brooklyn back then was like, the Wild Wild West. They used to call it Crooklyn, Wild Wild West, like, like boy, I tell you. Oh, boy, I tell you. But these niggas was scared to go over there by the Alphabet City. I'm gonna tell you that now. They wouldn't even fuck around going over there across the Williamsburg Bridge. And on the Brooklyn side of the Williamsburg Bridge is where all the it's a large Jewish community. It's a large Jewish community right on the Brooklyn side of the Williamsburg Bridge. And then when you walk or drive across that bridge, you right in Alphabet City, right there. And I'm telling you, niggas they wouldn't even fuck around. Like, nah, I ain't going over there. Nah, I ain't going over there, boy. I tell you. But yeah, I remember those days. And that was in the 70s. That was in the 70s. So and even the Chinese gangs, they were notorious. The Vietnamese gangs was notorious. There was a movie, I can't remember the name of that movie, but that movie was actually based on it was based on true events about what's that news reporter name? She Chinese, Kaidi Chong. I think that's her name, Kaidi Chong. I'm not even sure if she still work, but it's a news reporter. Maybe I might not even know about her because that was like, yeah, Kaidi Chong and her husband. I'm not sure if they still married. Maury Povich. Maury Povich used to be a news reporter, and I can't remember that name of that movie, but it was actually based on them and the gangs in Chinatown and how ruthless they were. But I'm just saying that to say that everybody was acting up. It wasn't just, you know, it wasn't just black people. Everybody was acting up here in New York City. Okay. So when they built the projects in the 1940s, it was for the Jews, the Italians, the Puerto Ricans, the white ones, the Dominicans, and the Irish. And I think I put in the chat yesterday. There's that book you got to read because we read that Yvette Carnell book club, How the Irish Became White. Because I'm gonna tell you what happened when they started migrating up north, when ADOS started migrating up north, they became they became they became like traps because I know here in New York City they were regulated to the slums. And back then, like especially in 1910, 1920, 1930, like it was like slums, like for real, for real. It was like slums, and these slums were occupied by the Jewish, the Irish, and the Italian people. Okay, That's who it was occupied by. All the slums and even the projects. You understand what I'm saying? So as they came up here and all the Irish became white, the Italians became white, the white Latinos miscegenated and became white, um the Italians became white. The Jews, they pretty much stayed Jewish. They didn't have to become white because what they did was they built their own towns, just like you had Black Wall Streets, all across the USA. The Jews started to build their own like Jew Wall Street, all across New York, all across New York City and upstate. Like they literally have the same way it used to be with the Black Wall Streets. Even to this day, whether they're Orthodox or even non-Orthodox, okay, they're still Jewish, and they may not be Orthodox walking around with all the black coats and the little curly curl and the black hair. You could just see them in the street and you'll just think that it's a white person because they're not wearing the Orthodox gear. They just look like regular people, right? Even them, they all have their own communities. And when I tell you they have their own communities, they don't have to leave outside of their community for anything. They got their own butcher shops, their own ambulance, their own security, police patrol. They have their own furniture stores. They have their own grocery stores. They have their own piano stores. They have their own clothing stores. They have their own fruit and vegetable stands. They have their own everything. And they don't need to leave their community and go and mix with anybody for nothing. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. They don't have to go anywhere, and they could still be Jewish. They didn't have to even be white. They was able to build their own community, in New York City. And I remember at one point all of them was getting Section 8 too. All of them was getting Section 8 in New York City. And what they was doing was they were building houses and they was renting each other, Section 8. That's what they was doing. They even did, I think the New York Times even did an article about that one. Yeah. That was a big thing. At one point, they were the only ones getting Section 8. They were the only ones getting it. I'm telling you, they were the only ones getting Section 8, all the way from the 80s, all the way till New York City stopped giving out Section 8 certificates. I think was in 2000, 2006. And then when they even was giving those certificates out, yeah, they run New York. That's why the children, you're right. That's why they get out of school for all the Jewish holidays. All the schools are closed during the Jewish holidays. And I'm talking about public schools. The public schools where the black kids and the Latin, Latino, and Hispanic kids go to are shut down during the Jewish holiday. And not only that, but they even have exclusively Hasidic and Jewish schools within the public school system. So they even run their own schools in with public money. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. So like, like I wouldn't be able to go to the Board of Education in New York City and say, you know what, I want to have a little elementary school from, pre-K to the 5th grade for just little black girls or little black boys or both. I want a co-ed school because I don't think they do co-ed school. The Jewish people, they have separate school for girls and separate school for boys. They don't go to school together. But I wouldn't still be able to go to the New York City Board of Education and say, I just want a school exclusively for black children. They're look, they'll probably call police on me for trespassing in their government public property. Okay, that's what will happen. That's what will happen. But what I'm telling you is that the Jews have exactly that. They exactly went to the Board of Education, was like, we need a Jewish school over here teaching the Torah and the Talmud for our boys. And they get it with public money. With public money, a public school. But yeah, they run New York. They run New York. Well, actually they run the whole country, but that's another story. They run the whole country. They run the whole country, but that's another story. But but the the Jews got their own communities, especially in Brooklyn, because Brooklyn is a very large borough. So they have their own communities in Brooklyn, and they have their own communities upstate New York, like Westchester, up there by the Bronx, um, stuff like that. Westchester, the Bronx, like Parkchester, um, and a little bit further up, like by the Hudson River, like by those counties over there, Rockland County, right there by the Hudson River, the Catskill Mountains and stuff like that. Yeah, they got their own little damn communities. They don't need to leave their community for nothing unless they come into Manhattan, go to their office, which they don't even do anymore, since the pandemic, right? But they don't have to leave their community for anything. So they was able to build their own communities. But the Irish, the Italians, and the white Puerto Ricans, the white Latinos, they were able to become white, and they were able to move in white neighborhoods, not Jewish neighborhoods, but white neighborhoods, like where the white people are at, like where the Germans and stuff like that are at, like where like white people are at, like for real, for real. So what happened was they all moved out of the projects, and that's when black people moved in. They moved into the projects, and they actually didn't move into the slummy areas. What they did was the city fixed that up. They fixed that up, and then white people moved in after it was like renovated, like totally renovated. Then white people moved in there. But all of the people from the Great Migration, they came into the projects. That's why we got generations of people here in New York City that are black that live in all the projects here. Like they were here, their mother was here, their grandmother was here, like that. You know, that's from the Great Migration. They started coming in these projects, I would say like the 50s or the 60s, even around the 60s, they started coming in the projects. Because I remember by that time when I was growing up, coming up in the 70s, it was like yeah, it was already black as far as I remember. It was already black because okay, okay, I'm getting way too ahead. Okay, I was born in the late 60s, right? The By the time the Great Migration was still going on, apparently in New York, when all the white people moved out of the projects and all the black people moved in from the South, that was like the 50s, the late 50s that started happening. Like I'd say like 57, 58, you know, and yeah, that started happening. So then I was born in the late 60s. But during the 50s, I think you had like the civil rights movement. It was starting to happen. By that time in the late 50s, that's when by the time the civil rights movement was powerful, that's when all the projects here were like, it was all black. It was all black. It was all black. It was all black. And then the slums, like in the Lower East Side, that wasn't too far from the projects. Like if you look at like that movie Radio Days, you know, if you look at a movie like that, it was based in New York. I think he had his based in Brooklyn, but I think they did show parts of like the Lower East Side Manhattan where you know it was supposed to be like the slum area, but they renovated those because we let me tell you what they did was they renovated those. They called those pre-war buildings. They don't call them the slums anymore. Like in today's real estate market and in today's law, they're pre-war buildings. So they were all built before World War One, basically, right? And they still stand. And what they did was they fixed those up. They're real nice, and like some of them, they're like really nice. They're like large rooms with like two bathrooms in these apartments. Some of them have stairs and stuff. These are all pre-war buildings. They fixed those up and they made those into what I like to call the white people section 8 here, which they call here in New York what rent controlled apartments. That's it. Because if you're not white, you're not getting into them. They are rent controlled apartments. That's what they call them. That's what I call the white people section 8. That's the white people section 8 here in New York City. They get the renovated pre-war building apartments, and instead of paying the market rent, which would be like $3,000, you know, for like a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, they only paying like $800 a month for it. They're not paying the market rent of today's rent. They only paying like $800. A lot of white people are in those apartments, and a lot of teachers who are teachers in New York public schools. A lot of them have those apartments. Okay, rent control. Where I don't know, is that where you're at? Because I don't know where I'm at. All the projects here were built in the 1940s, and it wasn't for black people. It wasn't. So I don't know. What state are you talking about? Texas? Because that's where a lot of Mexicans are. I mean, I know they were. I know there's a lot of Mexicans here now, but when I was growing up, there wasn't any Mexicans here. The main Hispanic people that were here were Dominicans, and those were the brown skinned Dominicans. They wasn't the white Dominicans. They were the brown people. Like they not that color anymore. But so strong and humble. I don't know. Are you talking about Texas? Oh, okay, okay. Well, that would make sense because I mean Texas has been celebrating Juneteenth since 1965, and ain't no government made that a official holiday. I mean I don't know if they made it official holiday, but I don't know. I don't think any government told them like we're gonna celebrate. Like ADOS was celebrating that shit anyway since 1865, which is like because I'm like we haven't been doing that up here in New York. Like this time was the first time ever, like ever, ever, ever. This when what was that day? It was Saturday, right? When I did the damn live stream. Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense, especially if they started migrating there in 1910, and I guess they had to figure out what the hell they was gonna do with all them damn Negroes. So that makes sense. That makes sense. But here they didn't build it. It was white people, Irish people, and Italian people, and white Latinos, white Puerto Ricans, the one that look white, not the brown skin ones. That's who they built it for. That's who they built it for. And the Jews, they were all in the projects here first. They were all in the projects here first. Yeah. So, and then the slums that they moved out of, because they went to the good neighborhoods. They was able to go to the good neighborhoods, like Queens, in the Upper Bronx, close to Westchester. I mean, close to Connecticut, that side of the Bronx over there by the borderline of Connecticut. Um, Manhattan, like the Upper East Side, the Upper West Side. Then you have Hell's Kitchen. That was an Irish neighborhood that's in Manhattan over there by like 42nd Street, Broadway, Times Square over there. Um, where else? In Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, like by the shore, close to like way out there in Brooklyn, close to the damn shore, going out there to Far Rockaway, which is considered Queens, but you got to go through Brooklyn to get there. You got to go to the end of Brooklyn to get there. Over there by, yeah, those are like good neighborhoods. Those are like good neighborhoods with nothing but houses, like single family houses, large single family houses with like two and three floors, brick houses, brownstones and stuff like that. Yeah. They were able to move into them good neighborhoods. Yeah. So the slums that, well, I know about the slums in Manhattan, the ones I hear like in radio days and stuff, and even in Brooklyn, like all over, any place that was a slum was considered a pre-war building, right? And the pre-war building was um was made into rent controlled apartments, which is white people Section 8. They renovated it and then they just charged them minimal amount of rent. And you have people like literally they live in those apartments like for 80 years and like die in them apartments. And because of the laws here in New York City, if the realtor or the landlord can have to, if a family member, like say it was a husband and a wife and they lived in this rent controlled apartment. The husband died first, of course, because women live longer than men, and then the mother, the woman, the wife died. you know if there was a son or a daughter or a grandson or a granddaughter or even a great grand, a close family member, they would get that apartment. They would get, if and they had like a certain amount of days to I think 30 days, I'm not sure, but they have a good amount of time to lay claim on that apartment. They have a good enough time to lay claim on the so they have a good enough time to lay claim on the apartment, on that rent controlled apartment. I call it the white people Section 8 because it's the same thing. But it's a subsidy that's given directly through New York State real estate law, New York State or New York City real estate law. So it's a certain amount of apartments here in all the boroughs that remain rent control. And the people who live in those apartments are usually white people, like Italian, Irish, all of them, and 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 um and they have those apartments for generations. For generations, you know. Yeah. So that's what with that. And then also like with this migration, right? Um I would say that, ADOS still got kind of stuck. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back. So, okay, so while the projects were being cleared out and the people from the South moved into the projects, this was like, by the time it was like, 1960, right? Like it was black people. All of the other like white people moved out, right? And the Jews, they all moved out. So now you got 1960, the civil rights movement. Um, that was going on, civil rights movement. And then um King, while they was doing the civil rights movement, then you got what's this that dude name who is rumored that he is biracial. Was it Nixon or Hoover? The one that yeah, I know. Was it Nixon or Hoover who was rumored to be biracial, which is, you know, probably why he hated on Negroes so much, because he had like a hate, like he didn't want them to have anything. He sent spies all over the daggone place. I'm trying to find out my damn what the hell. Well, I think it was Herbert Hoover. Yeah, is it? Let me. Oh, jeez, are you kidding me? This. mm, I can't wait till I can get me some damn Starlink over here. Boy, I tell you. Yeah, it was Hoover. Herbert Hoover. Let me see. No, maybe it was Nixon. This isn't the same guy unless I'm in the Twilight Zone again. Maybe I'm in the Twilight Zone again. No, then it was Hoover. Oh, I see. They must have photoshopped this man's pictures. What was that dude name who started the they must have photoshopped these pictures so he don't look biracial and did that, scrub that shit all over the damn internet. I believe they did because it had to be Hoover. The dude who he started the cointelpro. Oh, J. Edgar. Isn't it J. Edgar Hoover? Or am I tripping? Okay, let me see. Okay. Yeah, it's saying okay. Oh, it was two Hoovers. Oh, okay. Well, I just learned something else again. It's two Hoovers. One is Herbert Hoover and the other is J. Oh goodness. The other is J. Edgar Hoover. That's the one who started COINTELPRO, right? Who hated the Negro so much and said that over his dead body, the Negro was going to rise. That was not going to happen on his watch. It's not going to happen. Okay, he was in office from May 1924, right, to May 1972. He was in office for a long fucking time. first director of the FBI. Hmm. Yeah, you can look at him and tell he biracial. That's probably why he yeah, boy, I tell you. But around this time, around the 60s when they was doing all of that COINTELPRO and spying on King, Malcolm X and them, boy, I tell you, and it's crazy because King was um I think he realized at the last minute, that I think he realized at the last minute that because he did ask for reparations. Martin Luther King Jr. did ask for reparations. That was right before they killed him, right? Um, what's his name? Um, oh my goodness, Adam Clayton Powell. He was also biracial. Now the rumor here in New York and we even got the Adam Clayton Powell Junior State Building right over here in Harlem. But the rumor with him is that you know he he fought so hard for integration in education because he was it was like it was a vendetta. Like he wanted to get, I guess he wanted to just get back at white people who, couldn't stand, forget not being able to stand sitting next to a Negro. But damn, could you imagine having to drink from the same water fountain and sitting in the same seat? You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got no damn wipes to wipe that seat, when that Negro get up. And could you imagine drinking from the same cup and eating from the same spoon that they use? Like I'm telling y'all, to them people, that was totally fucking disgusting, right? And the rumor was that Adam Clayton Powell only did that to make them feel disgusted like that, basically. Like it wasn't, for like a noble cause. Like, yeah, I'm fighting to get these Negroes a good education. Because Negroes back then, they were more educated then than they are today. Like, I'm just saying, it is what it is. They were more educated back then. And they were going to schools, where like that was segregated. They were going to segregated schools, high school, elementary school, and college. Man, as old as I am, I remember I had some old people tell me, like, because they would always, the old people, like the elders that had to sit in the back of the bus, like people like that. They were like, boy, I tell you, like they would try to like, boy, I tell you, I don't know if it was their way of trying to encourage you, like, but if you were in school or in college, they will always tell you the importance of getting an education, whether you was trying to get your high school diploma or whether you were in college trying to get an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. It didn't matter. These elders were always, like in my face about how they used to have to walk 3 miles to go to school with raggedy tagged up books, but they did that shit, and they got they high school diploma, they got they college degrees and all of that. So they was like, look, if I can walk 3 miles to school with no shoes on and books without a cover on that shit, like you could take your black ass to school and get an education, okay? Like they were literally telling me it was no fucking, I couldn't give them any excuse about why I couldn't go to school and finish my education. It was no excuse that I could give these old people that had to sit in the back of the bus. That's what I went through. I'm already old. I'm like 53. I'm not sure what the millennials go through, or Generation Z, My children would be a part of Generation Z. I'm Generation X. My children are Generation Z. I had them like I was late, right? Because like I said, I don't know if I said it before, but it was all about me. I already knew that once I had children, it couldn't be all about me anymore. And let me tell you, the first 30 years of my life, it was all about Shenpei, okay? And I have no regrets. I have none. It was all about me, and I had a ball, and I had fun, and it was all about me. But when I gave birth, when those babies came, it was all about them. It was everything. It was all about them. I already knew that. You know what I'm saying? That's why like I said last night, I love them and everything, but I'm glad to have my own space again. I'm glad to have my own space again. But with King, he he I was talking about what's his name? Adam Clayton Powell in the rumor. It wasn't like the rumor here is like he wasn't really trying to like integrate education, so black people could get a better education. It was like he had a bone to pick. He had a vendetta. He wanted to make these white people uncomfortable like for the rest of their life in that decade. That was like his intention. That's the rumors here. Yes, strong and humble. They took education very serious. Like even my grandfather, who was a minister, like he was also um very close. He was very close to slavery. You know what I'm saying? His grandfather was a slave. My grandfather, his grandfather was a slave and lived to be like 134 years old. You know what I'm saying? After the Civil War, he went South Carolina and bought some land, and they got like a whole like 100 acres over there, and it's named after my grandfather's surname. I think it's about 200, and they got their own fucking lane is what I'm saying. They got their own fucking lane. It's their own lane. And like, it's for anybody in my mother's side of the family, if who they don't got to be homeless. They could just go over there and drop a trailer. You know what I'm saying? On about an acre or a half an acre. Like if it get that serious, I could just go over there and just drop a trailer over there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, my grandfather, he was a race man, what they used to call a race man. And you right, they did take education very seriously because he used to always him too. He used to always be like, oh, he used to always be like, yeah, go ahead, finish school, get your education, and then you need to come down south and teach because we need more black teachers down here. That was his thing. His thing was like, we need more black teachers. That was his thing, you know. But that was Adam Clayton Powell's thing. It wasn't about, trying to get black people or black children to get a better education because they'll be able to sit next to a white person in school. His thing was totally personal. Somebody really hurt his feelings. And that's the rumor here, that I've heard like in New York. That's like, around the what's the word I'm looking for? Around the Black Collegian, around the Black Collegian. That's what we discussed. That it wasn't he wasn't doing that just to help black people get a better education. He literally had a personal vendetta. Somebody really hurt that man's feelings. I don't know, maybe he didn't he didn't like when I don't know, because he was biracial. So how those people was. You biracial. His father was probably white. They was probably calling his father a nigger lover, and he probably didn't like that, and told him all kinds of disgusting things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's not. He was already sitting with white folks. He was already doing that. because he was biracial and he literally almost passed. Somebody must have said that he had a black mother, but I understand what you're saying. That's what the rest of the country said. But what I'm trying to tell you is the rumor in New York with the black collegian. Like when I was in college with my other peers and stuff, this is the type of stuff we used to sit down and discuss. And the rumor amongst these people were, my peers were, you know, that's not what it was. It's not that he wanted to sit next to white folk. He was already sitting next to white folk. I'm trying to tell you, I think it was a personal vendetta. He was already sitting next to white folk, and white folk was probably, like, I have, how you, listen, black or people, biracial people that could pass for white, and people won't know that they're biracial unless they come out and say, and when they're around white people will say all kinds of things about black people. Like, I use the F word for gay people all the time in my household, and, not around anybody else, because you can't say that word anymore. You got to say gay. You can't use the FA word. But shit, I throw that word around all the time behind closed doors, the same way white people throw the N word around behind closed doors all the time. They're not going to come online and be like N word, N word, N word. But I'm pretty sure they be in their house behind closed doors where they're comfortable saying N word, N word, N word. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to say that he had a personal vendetta because he was sitting next to white folks. Black people didn't have that privilege like he did to sit next to white folks. Do you understand what I'm saying? They didn't have that. No darkies like myself had that privilege to sit next to him. They didn't have that privilege. He did. And what I think it was, like, the rumor has it, is that he just wanted to get back at them. More than likely, they were saying stuff about the Negroes that he didn't appreciate, and they felt like they could be comfortable and say it around him where he's, privileged enough to be, for the lack of a better term, he's privileged enough to be with these people, you know, you know, like, like, okay, it's the same thing with my immigrant privilege, with my first generation immigrant privilege. When I be around people who's not American descendants of slavery, they feel like because I have that first generation immigrant inside of me, they are comfortable speaking badly about American descendants of slavery. You get what I'm saying? They're very comfortable with it. They're very comfortable saying all kinds of stuff that I'm not even really gonna repeat, but it's the same difference. The only thing is I just have a different ethnicity, but he was biracial. He could pass for white. So even he could pass for white, he was going to private school and everything. He wasn't in public school. I think he was like boarding school, private school, and he was with white people. He was able to do that because he could pass. He could pass. So yeah, and they were saying all types of shit around him that he didn't like. So basically, the rumor with us was the reason why he did that, the reason why he fought the Board of Education was so he can get back at those white people that kept saying the N-word all the time and talking about how they are porch monkeys and flying monkeys like in the Wiz, and all of that derogatory shit that he had to listen to while he was sitting there getting an education. And so his thing was to get them back by saying, you know what, I'm gonna take y'all, to court and make sure a darky could sit next to your ass, and it's like yeah, and bother you with it. I do shit like that too. I do shit like that too. Like I literally do shit like that. If I know something like really fucking like if I know something really bothers a person and I don't like that person, you know what I'm saying? Just to be a bitch, I'll do whatever it is I know that they don't like, because I know that they don't like it, and because um, you know, I just want to fuck with them, basically. Like if I know somebody didn't want me sitting next to them, you know, for whatever reason, I'm gonna sit next to them because I know it's gonna fuck with them. You see, so his thing, Adam Clayton Powell, it was like the same thing. So his thing was, I'm gonna get all these darkies to come. They're gonna have to sit next to you, and you're gonna have to put up with that shit. That's why he did it. That's why he did it. It's not because he wanted to sit next to white folk. He was already sitting next to white folk. He was already doing that. But he had to sit next to them white folk and listen to them talk about them darkies. That's what he had to do. And Martin Luther King, for some reason, um, he was the one who did the integration thing, like sit, go to the library with white folk, go in the pool with white folk, go to the diner with white folk. That was Martin Luther King's thing. That wasn't Adam Clayton Powell. So, and even Martin Luther King, when he was doing this, he didn't use like the middle class people in the Southern Baptist Church to do all of these walk-ins and sit-ins. These were ADOS from the ghettos. No, no, white people don't talk about well, well, you know, they don't. I'm not really talking about them. Like they'll try to when they know that um I'm not. I'm a first generation immigrant, but I'm talking about like other. I'm talking about other immigrants because New York City is the immigrant city, right? It's a lot of immigrants here from all over, from all over. But when I'm around other immigrant people, uh, regardless of their level of melanin. So like when I'm around like Latinos, Hispanics, um, and black people from the Caribbean, from Central America, you know, and even back in the day when I used to be around the Africans, even them, talk dirty about ADOS. They all do. I mean, really, even my grandmama ain't. Even my grandmama ain't. She 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 don't like she never even liked ADOS, and she ain't never let me forget that, I wasn't one of them. She ain't never let me forget that. As far as she was concerned, I was a damn Yankee. Okay? And that's how she introduced me to her Latin American friends and her Latin American family. I'm a Yankee. She, I mean, she ain't never, this is my father's mother. She ain't never considered me one of them. As far as she was concerned, I was a Yankee and that's it. That was it. So, yeah. So, like, as far as immigrants, they talk bad about ADOS too. It ain't just white people. It ain't just them. You know what I'm saying? But with King, when he was doing all of that stuff, now I'm in the 60s. This is still during the Great Migration, and all the projects in New York are now black. All of them, all black people. You know what I'm saying? And when King was doing all of them protests and stuff, like I said, he didn't use the upper middle class people like himself and his family and the people that they was going to church with, like what's her name, Condoleezza Rice, because she was one of the people in that church that was bombed. That was bombed with them little black girls that got killed, back in the day, one of them churches. I don't know if y'all remember that story, but yeah, one of the churches got bombed, and I think it was like three little black girls that got killed in the church that got bombed that King was preaching at or something like that. But anyway, Condoleezza Rice was in that church, y'all. But yeah, so they were like upper class people, up the black middle class, right? But they didn't use the black middle class to do the protesting and the sit-ins. They used the people in the projects. They they used, the people in the South in the ghettos. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. But I think that King just, by the time he realized that he should have been asking for reparations, that's when they killed him. Because I remember that interview he did. Was it was on NBC with the one that retired. It was on NBC with that news anchor from NBC who's retired. I can't remember his name right now. I can't remember his name, but he did an interview. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. He did an interview back in 19, I think it was like six, right before he died. Right before he died. That interview where he said that he was talking about how the American government, and this is around the time that I think that, he was trying to change his agenda, because the first agenda was like, yeah, we just want to sit next to you in the dining area and in the library and stuff like that. And I never really understood that, because I was like, first of all, I'm gonna tell y'all this right now, okay? Because um I don't want to call it racism, but hate, and like I said before in my Juneteenth video that I did on Saturday, um, that's genetic. It's genetic. That hate that they have is it's genetic, and it goes back in their genes for centuries. Okay, because I told y'all about the Moors and how they was all up in Europe for like 800 years, and how they was using the European women as sex slaves and concubines and all of that. This goes back for centuries. It's in their genes. So the hate that they have is like it's like, I'm gonna just tell y'all this now. Don't ever eat any food from anybody that hates you, okay? Because all kinds of energy goes into cooking food, right? It just is what it is. All types of energy goes into cooking food, you know. Love, hate, uh bitterness, all of that goes into the food that's being cooked. Cooking is a chemistry, okay? It's a chemistry, all right? And you don't want to eat anything from anybody who hates you. Like, you just don't want to do that. And I guess I could never understand why would somebody want to go to a diner where they don't want you there, and order a hamburger and fries, and a milkshake. Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like, oh my goodness, boy. Don't ever eat, don't ever if there's a restaurant that you feel like is being hateful towards you because of the color of your skin, please, just make note of it, right? Record it, get it on video, whatever, so you could sue. But please don't stay there. Walk out, because you don't want to eat that food. It'll make you sick. You don't want to eat it. You don't know if they spit in it, poisoned it, did anything. Wipe the hamburger bun between their ass and then put it on your piece of fake beef or whatever. You don't know. You don't want to eat anything like that from anybody. Period. I don't care. Black, white, Asian, Latin, Latino, it don't matter. You don't want to eat any food from anybody who has that type of bad energy or negative energy, period. If you go to a restaurant and somebody got an attitude, the cook got an attitude, you don't want to eat that food. I'm telling you, you don't want to eat it. You don't want to eat it. Okay. So with King, I think he realized it too late. So it's like, because the Negro, American Negro was doing better when they were literally segregated and they had to rely on each other for community. You know what I'm saying? Like they said, like the Jews got it now. They didn't have to leave their community for anything. Even though it wasn't their community, even though even though they moved into the projects in New York, after the Jews and the Irish and the Italians left. You understand what I'm saying? But boy, I tell you, it's just sad. But I think he realized late that he should have had another agenda. And I think by the time he realized that, that was right before they killed him. They killed him, they killed his father, they killed his brother. Like that whole family is just like they did Malcolm X's whole family. That whole family, both Malcolm X and Martin Luther King family, it's just that whole family was just taken out. They whole family, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they whole family was just taken out, including grandchildren. Boy, I tell you. But I think he realized it too late. Or by the time he realized it, they decided that's when, this nigga just need to die. Right? Because I remember that NBC interview that he did. Damn, it was that I can't remember his name, but he was an anchorman for like decades. He was for decades. He just retired. But Peter Koppel, Ted Koppel, one of them, Peter or Ted, it's one of them, NBC. But Ted Koppel was really a good journalist. Like there will never be another like that was real journalism. That right there, Ted Koppel, that was journalism. I don't know what motherfuckers call it. They call themselves journalists. They not fucking journalists. They just fucking running their motherfucking mouths, gossiping basically. That's what the fuck they do. You know what I'm saying? They just gossip. That's it. They not journalists. That's not journalism. Like don't even got a degree for that. Didn't even go to school for it. And these gossiping bloggers call themselves journalists. Like that is just so fucking hilarious. If you really want to see a journalist, then you should go back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s and look at Ted Koppel. Okay? That's what you do. But anyway, they did that interview with Martin Luther King. I'm thinking it was like 68, 67, like right before they killed him, 66, 67, or 68. And he was saying that, yes, it had to be because you know what? In 1965, and I think Hoover did this and the president did this on purpose in 1965 while the Negroes was out here marching and getting hosed up and bit up by dogs and getting spit on and kicked on and shit like that and had watermelons thrown at them. They decided to enact the Immigration Act, right? In 1965, the Immigration Act. I was born right after that. The Immigration Act in 1965. That's when my father and his family came here when they made that fucking Immigration Act. They came here in the 60s. And I'm gonna tell you something. King, I think it was 66 or 67 that he did that interview on NBC with Peter somebody. I can't remember his name, but he was right up underneath Ted Koppel. But he did that interview, and Martin Luther King said in that interview, he said, the American government tell the American Negro that they have to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. But how can you expect somebody to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and they ain't got no boots? you know, I'll never forget this. And then he turned around and say, And while they telling the American Negro that, they're bringing these immigrants in here and they're giving them everything. They're giving them education, free money, free housing, and free boots that they don't even need to pull them straps up because they given all of this stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, he didn't lie because, like I said, my father and them, they came over here as immigrants, and I said it over and over in all my videos that they got everything. Listen, when my grandparents came over here, they didn't have no fucking mortgage. They put that house cash, okay? They cash, okay? Giving education, giving jobs. My grandmama worked as a nurse at she retired from St. Luke's St. Roosevelt Hospital. She worked there for 30 years. She had retired right before, no, 35 years. She worked there for 35 years since she came up here to this country. She retired right before my eldest son was born because he was born right in that same hospital. I had him in that hospital and I got special treatment. Yes, I did. I got special treatment when I had my eldest in that hospital. I got special treatment because my grandmama worked there for like 35 years, and all the nurses, she worked in the nursery too. She worked on the birthing floor, like they called that the nursery back then. I don't know what they call it now, but where you give birth, and after you give birth, they put you in a room and then they put the baby, with all the other babies in the room and shit. Yeah, but I couldn't have my baby in there. I was like, I needed to have my baby in the room with me. You know what I'm saying? But I got special treatment because all the nurses on the floor knew who my grandmama was. And I'm telling you that when she came over here with my dad, they got that house paid up for. It was no mortgage. My grandmama was able to get a job as a nurse at St. Luke's St. Roosevelt's Hospital, which is a private hospital. My grandfather worked for the American Express Company. Back then, they called Shearson and Lehman. My grandfather worked for them, and then my grandfather was able to get my father a job up in there. In Shearson and Lehman, that it used to be the American Express Company, and they had that office right there at 55 Water Street, right over there, Wall Street. It's a beautiful area, beautiful over there, beautiful offices, beautiful scenery, everything. 55 Water Street. That's where they Shearson and Lehman, the American Express Company, used to be. And they came right over here, and they was given that. And then when they got settled, then they brought all they other friends and families came up. You understand what I'm saying? Stayed in that house with them until they was able to buy their own house. And they didn't really even stay that long. They might have came and stayed for like maybe 8, 9 months, a year. The most, I would say 15 months. And by then, her Latino family was out buying their own houses in Queens and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up in Brooklyn. That's where my grandmama, had the house at. It was in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. That was like it used to be a whole Jewish area until they had like American ADOS there also, but I don't know what was going on. Like those ADOS people were disappearing. And where my grandmama lived at, this is after the Immigration Act in 65. They came here in 66. They came here in 66. And I was born like right after that. They came here in 66. And the neighborhood we lived in Crown Heights, it was a Jewish neighborhood. They did have ADOS, but like the Jews lived like all the houses, like where my grandmama and them lived, and my childhood friends, their grandparents lived. Those used to be like Jewish people used to live in those houses, right? They moved out. You see where I'm getting with this? They moved out, and then they moved like a few blocks up on Eastern Parkway, because I used to live on Park Place. I used to live on Park Place, and right down the block was Albany Projects. All the ADOS people was in there. There was still a few Jews in there, but by the time it was like 1980, no more. All the Jews left out of Albany Projects, and it was strictly ADOS, and that was like one of the nastiest, most disgusting, most murderous projects in Brooklyn, and it was right down the block, you know, right across the street from all the private houses. And we had my grandmama owned a private house, and right down the block was Albany Projects. That was on the left, and then going towards the right, you going up towards Rochester Place, Schenectady Avenue, all of that was ADOS. And then all the Jews moved on Eastern Parkway, where they have the Labor Day parade, right? They do the Labor Day parade on Eastern Parkway. That's where they moved. They moved over there to Eastern Parkway, and then a little bit behind Eastern Parkway, like President Street. But then is more and more and more of the immigrants, you know, started coming in, and you know, I don't want to say taking over, but you know, when they is more of them started coming in Crown Heights, the Jews just regulated themselves on Eastern Parkway. Eastern Parkway, from Utica Avenue all the way up there to Grand Army Plaza by the how you say, by the Grand Army Plaza Library and the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, right? I'm trying to see the Labor Day parade is a parade of what we used to call West Indians back in the day, but they consider themselves Caribbeans. And it was actually the West, it was the West Indian American, what is it? The West Indian Day Wait. It was like a committee. It was a committee of West Indian people that actually got together and had that parade started. And they was active. They first started in the 1930s. They first started in the 1930s. So by the time my grandmama came up here in 1966, after the Immigration Act, because the Immigration Act actually helped immigrants come over here, basically. By the time she came over here, like, and another thing too, because the Labor Day parade is on Eastern Parkway, the Jews been trying to stop it. Like, I remember since the 80s, they was like they got tired of that noise every year. It never used to be as ratchet as it has been. I mean, there hasn't been a parade since the pandemic started, and the last one was in 2019, and it hasn't been as ratchet. I know when I was like a teeny bopper and I was going to the parade in the 80s, you know, it wasn't as ratchet as it is now. Now it's almost like a Freaknik show, but back then it was done with a lot more class and a lot more style and a lot more pride. You know, it was it was a carnival. It was like carnival. But now it's just ratchet, and it's like, I don't know, it's just ratchet. But I'm telling y'all, it was never like that. It was never like that. Not when I was coming up as a teeny bopper. Cause I would go to that parade every year, and every year I would go dressed up. I might not be dressed up in like the carnival stuff, but I would dress, you know. I wouldn't be naked. I would dress up like I'm dressing up for like a masquerade ball or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? And I would represent my father's Latin American country with that flag. I would carry that flag with me, and I would dress up like for a masquerade ball. It never used to be it was never ratchet, but now it's like it's just ratchet and nasty. Like it's nothing like it's supposed to be. And I don't even know if the committee who started it are even still. The committee is called the West Indian American Day Carnival Association. And I don't even know if they're still active, because I don't even know, because we haven't even had that parade for 2 years. We used to do the parade. We used to do Juve, because Juve was first. Juve would start like um 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, like early at the crack of dawn. It would start. I would go get ready for Juve, and then I just wear like regular t-shirt and shorts, because people will come out, like with the white powder all over their face. Because if you listen to my last video, I told y'all what Juve was, right? And how it's celebrated in the Caribbean, the same way the people in the Netherlands celebrate, kicking the Moors out. Juve was celebrated in the Caribbean and Latin American countries for kicking the slave masters out. It's the same thing, okay? So yeah, I would just wear regular t-shirt and shorts. I wouldn't wear the white powder on my face. I didn't like to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I would look cute. You know what I'm saying? I would look cute. And then you had to stay away from the Juve devil, who's always, painted in black and got the black paint tar, ready to just splash it on people. That was Juve. And it would be a whole process and a whole parade, 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning. And then after that parade was over, like about 6, I would go back in the house, change, dress up for the masquerade ball, and then go back to Eastern Parkway for the carnival, the parade, which actually started at 8 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was never as ratchet as it is now. Like people don't even dress up anymore and come out in the carnival costumes. They just come out, with their pants hanging down, they underwear showing, or they ass cheeks showing and a little paint on. I'm like, ugh. It's disgusting. It's disgusting right now. But I'm saying that to say that when my father and his people came here, they got in everything. And Martin Luther King did that interview on NBC in 1966, talking about how they tell the American Negro to pick themselves up by the bootstraps when they ain't got no boots. But then when the immigrant come over here, they're given education, jobs, money, finances, everything. And that's true, because I'm first generation, and my dad and his people got that. He came here with my grandmama, my grandfather, and his 2 sisters. So it was a family of my grandparents and they 3 children. And then I was born right after that. And then not only that, but I didn't find out till later on in life that when immigrants go through the immigration, and I didn't find out this till like I was like 50 something. Well, I tell you, when immigrants go through immigration, they're told not to mess with ADOS. They're told not to interact with them, not to socialize with them, not to get involved with them, not to engage with them, or any kind of thing at all. You know, for my grandmama, that wasn't um hard to do. She had a husband and she was very prejudiced against ADOS. She really was. She was very prejudiced against them. You know what I'm saying? And my 2 aunts, my father's sisters, they ended up marrying, their people from their Latin American country. So that's why, like my cousins, they're considered, from my grandmama's Latin American country, and I'm not, because my father apparently did not listen to the people in immigration and went in and messed with my mother, who is an ADOS, and they've been here since the 1700s. Like I said, I know where they come from. They've been here like the 1700s. They got the name of the first slave that came off the boat. They're recorded in the Library of Congress, slave pictures and all of that, names, everything. You know what I'm saying? They've been here since the 1700s. They, my grandfather, who is my mother's mother, who is the minister, his grandfather was a slave. I just told y'all that. And right after the Civil War, he moved to South Carolina, got all of that land, and there was and the land is named after them. It's a lane. It's like a whole lane. Like nobody can come up on that property if you're not, one of them, right? So my father obviously didn't listen to that. You know what I'm saying? And he met my mother. They met in junior high school. They met in junior high school at Lefferts Junior High School over there on Empire Boulevard, and in Brooklyn. And by the time my mother was in high school, she finished high school after she had me, but she was in high school when she got pregnant with me. And then, and I didn't find out this until later on in life, because I just swore that, my father, I'm not trying to like make anybody feel any less or anything, but my father was everything to me. I loved my dad, you know what I'm saying? I love my dad. He was everything to me. He was a manly man. He taught me, everything. He let me know how a woman is supposed to be treated. He's the one that told me that any animal that put their hands on me is not a man. You know what I'm saying? Look, my dad was even like, it was plenty of times I wanted to put my hands around your mama neck and just choke the life out of her. But you know what? I didn't do that. I just walked away because I'm a man. you know? You know what I'm saying? So he taught me. Yeah, he taught me. He also told me that a man is supposed to be able to take care of me. He's supposed to be able to assist me, right? That I should be able to take care of myself, but at the same time, if I do decide to partner up with a man, that this man is supposed to be capable of taking care of me, period. And yeah, I learned all of that because like I told y'all, with my I was married, but that wasn't for me. I got divorced, right? But with my son's father, you know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all that in one of the other videos. You know what I'm saying? Like he had two jobs and I got both them paychecks. He had two jobs and a side hustle. I got both them paychecks and I let him keep the side hustle money. Even though, he still shared it with me, right? But I'm just saying, I got the paychecks and I dealt with all the finances, all the paying the bills and all of that stuff, right? But, you know, my dad was everything to me. So I'm not trying to make anybody feel any kind of less, maybe because they don't know who their father is or whatever. But I'm sorry to you. You know what I'm saying? But my dad was everything to me. But I found out through my grandfather, because I just swore my dad was like a manly man. This man don't cry, none of that. But he told me, he was like, yeah, your father was I seen your father cry like a crybaby. I'm like, nah, grandpa, you lying. He told me this when I was a teeny bopper too. He was like, and that's when he told me how I came about. He was like, he came home crying because my mother's father, my grandfather, who's the race man, who kept telling me I need to, get my degree and come down south and teach because we, need black teachers. We need more black educators. That's what you always tell me. But he was a minister. So when he found out that my mom was pregnant, he told my father that, he was going to marry my mother, or, he was going to shoot him with his shotgun. And I don't know if y'all ever heard of the phrase shotgun wedding, but that's actually what my mother and my father had. They literally had a shotgun wedding. And my grandfather did have He had a whole rifle collection that he kept on the fucking wall by the in the foyer. Okay. He had a whole rifle collection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I remember that shit. I remember that shit, boy. I tell you. Boy, I tell you, because when I used to stay on his farm, he used to, he had like 55 acres, and that's why I be getting mad at them, because I'm like, y'all just some ungrateful children, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, when I grew up, when I used to live with him on his farm and whatnot, he would go hunting. He would go hunting rabbits and shit like that. They used to eat stuff like that, and my nana would cook it too. But anyway, he told my dad that he was gonna shoot my dad if my dad didn't marry my mom. And so my other grandfather said, my dad's father was like, well, you know what, boy, you just gonna hush up and stop that crying, because ain't nobody gonna get shot and die, because you gonna go over there and marry that woman. And that's how it happened. My father went over there, and my grandfather, my mother's father, married them, because he was a minister. He married them himself. He signed that damn marriage certificate and all of that himself. He made sure that shit was gonna happen. But yeah, so my father didn't listen to the immigration apparently, and ever since then, I could never be like him and his people. I was always the Yankee. I was always the Yankee child. Okay, in that family, I was the Yankee child. But I'm just saying that to say that when they came over here in 1966, they had it easy. And then Martin Luther King said that in the interview in NBC, when he said that the American Negro don't even have bootstraps or even have boots to be pulling themselves up with by the bootstraps. And then he did another a lecture or a talk or something, and I will never forget it. I'm not sure if it's on YouTube still, but it was, and it was just a small clip where he said that, and he was looking directly in the camera, and I swear, like, the chills I got just looking at him saying that, I was like, that was just gangster. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, he was saying something, and then he was like, um tell America that we coming for our check. And he looked dead at the camera and said that. And then they killed Martin Luther King, because I heard that, I learned that he was supposed to have a march on Washington, like Farrakhan did with the Million Man March, and they didn't even get nothing out of that, not a job, nothing. But King was supposed to go up there with all of these black people, and with his people, and with Malcolm X people. They was all supposed to join forces and go to the White House over there, where they marched, the Million Man March. They were supposed to go over there and demand reparations for ADOS people. And that never happened, because they killed King. They killed him. And then they killed Malcolm X. And then, you know, after they killed Malcolm X, they had the Black Panther Party came around, because they was, more about, supposed to be policing and protecting the black community. But a lot of them were infiltrated by J. Edgar Hoover's COINTELPRO. They was also infiltrated by the white female gay lesbian feminists. They were infiltrated, because I want to tell you about the Panther, and it's very interesting that they named themselves the Panthers, because what's her name? Assata Shakur. What's Joanne Chesimard? That's her real name. Joanne Chesimard, right? She she was considered the mother hen of the Black Panther Party. She was considered the mother hen of the Black Panther Party. She was Tupac's godmother. And it's just interesting because the panther, the Black Panther specifically, is a totem, right? I'm trying to it's a totem. I'm trying to give you the exact information about it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to give you the exact, because I think this is important, because the Black Panthers, I believe, was okay, it was like, I want to say that it was ran by the Black women, and the Black men at a certain point was like the how you say, like the protector of this uh of this um of this group. What the hey? Oh boy, I tell you. They also initiated the free lunch program, the Black Panther Party. I remember getting those brown paper bag lunches when I was like 5, 6. Yeah, they started the free lunch program, and it's because of them that the schools, the New York City public schools, stay open during the summertime and give out breakfast and lunch. They used to do it to children up to 21, but recently, since the pandemic, it's only been up to 18 years old, you know. So, the Black Panther is a totem. Do you know a totem is let me see. Oh boy, this damn thing. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me explain to you what a totem is. A totem is, and all people across all cultures use totems, all on all continents of this earth, right? It's a natural object or animal that is believed by a particular society to have spiritual significance, and that is adopted by it as an emblem. Okay? A person or thing regarded as being symbolic or representative of a particular quality or concept, right? Now, before the Black Panthers were infiltrated by um gay, lesbian, white women, and by COINTELPRO, J. Edgar Hoover. Because if you notice, like I told y'all before, Black men, they have an affinity with white women, because just go back to the last video, I think or the first one that I did, June 18th, when I was talking about the Moors and being in Europe all of them 800 years and stuff. So, and their level of lust is like really, really, really high. And you can tell that even by looking at today, like they can look at a transformer and not on TV, in the movies, on Netflix, on Love and Hip Hop, on rap shows, on the Grammys, on Facebook, on YouTube. They can look at a transformer and not even know that it's a transformer because they're just so lustful. Or I remember today in the video that I liked with the single club mixer thing, like she was saying, like you got to be stacked. That's what these niggas like. They want to see something stacked. You know what I'm saying? Big booty, big stacked thighs, all of that. So yeah, the lust level is so high they can't even tell that when they lusting after a bitch with scrotums, okay? They can't even tell when they lusting after that. That's how bad it is. You know what I'm saying? But so it was easy for them white lesbian chicks to walk up in there and yeah, boy, I tell you, and talk about I don't need no man, and but they got they white men at home though, boy, I tell you. But anyway, that's what a totem is. The Black Panther is literally a totem, okay? And I'm gonna tell you the I'm gonna tell you the Black Panther's power. It includes astral travel, guardian energy, symbol of the divine feminine, death, rebirth, understanding of death, reclaiming one's power, ability to know the dark, aggressiveness and power without solar influence, reclaiming power. So that would be the moon. Aggressiveness, knowing, ability to know the dark, the moon, you know. The panther is a very ancient and powerful spiritual guide, sorry. Their power is lunar, which is the moon. And in Kemet, or which I know is Egypt, in Kemetic rites, a panther's tail was worn around the neck or waist to help protect and strengthen the individual. Panther has always been a symbol of the Argos of 1,000 eyes, who protects somebody from Zeus. And he protected the heifer Io from Zeus. And after his death, the eyes were moved to the feathers of the peacock. Right. That's that spirit that my favorite psychic said was on what's her name? Wendy Williams. The peacock. Ooh, child. So I'm not gonna like read into all of that, but I just wanted you to have a basic understanding of the spirituality behind the panther, and that it's the symbol of the divine feminine. And it was the Black Panthers were literally ran by women, and it was the men that protected that space. You understand what I'm saying? It was women that was given the law, and it was men that was enforcing it. Like I keep telling y'all over and over and over, like men are here to assist. Like they're here to assist. So in the 70s, you had the Black Panthers, and then, they came down because of the white gay feminists and J. Edgar Hoover, right? Then they got rid of the last ones. Remember when they blew up Pennsylvania? Was it Pennsylvania or Philadelphia back in 84, I think? That was like the last remnants of them. Yeah, I think that was Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, but that was in 1984. That was the last remnants of them. They bombed them. They bombed them. And Joanne Chesimard, aka Assata Shakur, she I don't know what happened, but allegedly they said that she killed some cops. I don't know, but they arrested her. And from what I heard, um, from what I heard, when they arrested her and had her in jail, they was abusing her. They was yeah, they was she was being abused because if 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 you're if you're considered what they call a cop killer, you know, they'll break your face in jail. That's what they'll do. Cops and everything. That's a no-no. They will beat you to death, like literally, if you can live long enough. And from the story that I heard, that's what they was doing to Assata Shakur. And when she broke out of jail, it was three black men that broke her out of jail. These niggas broke her out of jail. It was three of them, and I think two of them died in the process, and the one that survived, of course, he was in prison, but not before they was able to get Assata Shakur to safety, and then she went to Cuba. Okay, it was in Philly. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was the last remnants of them. That was the last remnants that bombing they did in Philly. You see how they just so used to bombing ADOS people? And them people, they weren't like in no position of power to make a dent anywhere. Like what was they gonna do? Like they were ADOS. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I tell you. But when they broke Assata Shakur out of jail, um, two of them died in the process. It was three black men. Two died in the process, and the other one was shot, but he wasn't killed, and they took him to jail. But that was not before they got her to she got to Mexico. I don't know what kind of underground railroad she had to travel to get to Mexico, but she got there, and ever since she got there, she was granted asylum from Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro also came to Harlem. He came to Harlem, I think it was around the Malcolm when Malcolm X was still alive. I'm not sure. But yeah, she's in Cuba, and right now she had yeah, but Fidel Castro, he was here in Harlem. I think it was around the time still that Malcolm X was alive. But she's in Cuba, and she also has the highest bounty offered by the FBI to this day in 2022. Assata Shakur. She has the highest bounty of any FBI wanted person. Her head is worth the most. Her head is worth the most. Assata Shakur. So when they got rid of the remnants of the Black Panthers in Philly, when they bombed them, and I think it was 83 or 84, I'm not sure, but right after that happened, crack came. Crack came. Right after they bombed the last of the Black Panthers, crack came. You know, it was bad. It was bad. That crack is like, I don't know. I went to sleep and then one night, and then I woke up one morning and looked out my window, and everybody was a crack zombie. Like everybody. Like everybody, you know? And the crack came, and it was just bad. Like, oh my God, it was just bad. And by that time in 1984, a lot of the ADOS in my neighborhood where I was living in Crown Heights, they were getting taken out by the Caribbeans people moving in, because around that time they was all coming from like Jamaica, um, Grenada, um, like all over. They was coming from all over. Barbados, they was coming from all over, and they all was moving to Brooklyn. Now, like I said, the none of them crack dealers were any heroes. I think Ricky Ross was in Harlem, right? I was in Brooklyn. Harlem was different because it was like that was like the last remnants at in those days. That was the last remnants of ADOS in New York, like basically. Because where I lived in Brooklyn, it was ADOS, but it wasn't many. And the people who wasn't many, because like I said, they started doing that Labor Day parade or West Indian Day parade since the 30s on Eastern Parkway. So they was coming in, and then after the Immigration Act, they was really coming in. And it's like if you go to Brooklyn today, it's mainly Jewish and Black Caribbean in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn is a very, very big borough. But as a matter of fact, in Brooklyn, that's the largest constituency of immigrants from the Caribbean. And that's what I wanted to bring up also, because in the 80s at that time it was the largest um constituency of ADOS. And oh, okay, Los Angeles, okay, I know with some dudes up here in Harlem, like one of them just got taken out after being in jail for some time, that killed some other drug dealer that they made a movie about. I can't remember his name, but yeah, those were like the last remnants of ADOS. They made a movie about that boy. I can't remember um his name. But yeah, they were like the last remnants. They were all up there in Harlem, and they keep talking about them and making documentaries about them like they some real hot shots and stuff, because they was dealing all of this crack and shit. And I guess they was the shit, because they gave somebody $1 here or there. I don't know, but I'm telling you, where I was at in Brooklyn, it was bad. Crackheads, it was horrible. It was horrible. Women out here sucking all types of penis, having sex type bestiality, all types of stuff for a small rock. And these niggas was putting that shit on video. They was putting that shit on video. I know Negroes ain't had no, like, we didn't have cell phones back then. Well, we did, but you had to have some kind of money to have it, right? In the 80s, I'm talking about too. But they had video cameras were very popular among the Caribbean population. Oh, okay. That's why they migrated. Damn crackheads, boy! I tell you, it's just bad because they messed up a whole lot of people. They messed up a whole lot of people, and I'm telling you, the Caribbean population where I was at in Brooklyn, for them to have a video camera and go to the club and record their reggae shows and stuff, that was nothing. They like I had a video camera, you know what I'm saying? And what they was doing, they was out there selling crack. And one of the biggest dealers that was selling crack, and where I lived at in Brooklyn, he was on America's Most Wanted. He was on America's Most Wanted. He was not only a part of the gang in New York, Brooklyn, but he was also a part of the gang, yeah, Alpo and them. And he was also a part of the gang from his country in the Caribbean where he came from. But what I'm saying is that the Caribbean people like took over Brooklyn, and I keep hearing these American descendants of slavery talking about don't vote, don't vote, don't vote, don't vote. But at the same time, they being put out of their Section 8 apartments, and instead of them voting and crying and trolling politicians, their local politicians, they're exploiting themselves and their children by calling the news channel. Like, don't nobody really care. Like, don't nobody really care. Like, don't nobody really care to see you on the news talking about, you can't afford the rent because the landlord is gonna raise the rent. That's all I'm saying. Don't nobody really care. But when the crack came out, by the time the crack was out, like, there was hardly any ADOS because they were all being taken out by the Caribbean people, right? That was left in my part of Brooklyn, and from Crown Heights all the way down to Empire Boulevard, all the way down to Flatbush, all of that area, what they call Central Brooklyn, is Caribbean. Is nothing but Caribbean people. I'm telling you. And at this point, I'm first generation. So at this point, you got first, second, and even sometimes third generation. Cause like really a lot of them wasn't you know, having 4 and 5 kids at like 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them wasn't doing that. Like hell, I had mine's late. Like I had mine's late. You know what I'm saying? But that whole area now is Caribbean. And I remember going to school when we had Black Solidarity Day, right? There was this thing, I don't know if anybody else did it in the rest of the country, but there was Black Solidarity Day. And this Black Solidarity Day was always the Monday before Election Day. Election Day always falls on a Tuesday. So Black Solidarity Day always fell on that Monday. And even though it wasn't like a national, federal, or state holiday, like Juneteenth was just made this year, you know I never went to school that day. I never went to, like, there was no classes that day. What happened is all the parents, and they were all Caribbean, they were not ADOS. And I said this before in one of my esoteric rant videos. All the people that would show up to the schools were the parents, and they were Caribbean, and they would be in there strategizing about who they was gonna go to the polls tomorrow and vote for, what, because they had already went to this person's office with these demands, this agenda, this is what they want done in their community, XXXX. And then they would meet at the public schools, like, and drag us with them, but we wouldn't go to class. We would be meeting, they would meet in the auditorium and shit, and they would have these discussions. All of these people would show up. This is who we voting for in this district. This is what they said they was going to give us. So we all going to go to the polls tomorrow and vote for X, Y, and Z. And I remember this from when I was like, when I left my, when I was with my grand, well, basically I was like back and forth. I was with my mother's grandfather, my mother, and then my father, right? So, but I remember doing this since I was like 5 years old. I remember these Black Solidarity Day. I used to always look forward to that, right? Black Solidarity Day. And I don't even think school started then. School, well, no, because that was elections is usually in November. So yeah, it was like the Monday before, and we never went to class. So the parents would be in there strategizing. They would have a political agenda. Like, and before elections, you have certain people going to this councilman's office, this congressman's office, this assemblyman's office, and they would list down their demands. These were the Caribbean people, and be like, you give us this, and we're gonna give you these votes. And that's what they did. They would strategize, and they would literally come in there with. So for me, that was like second nature. That's why when I turned 18, it wasn't nothing for me to go and register to vote, because I've been doing these meetings since I was 5 years old. Since I was 5. I don't know when Black Solidarity Day stopped happening, but it stopped. And it could be when they finally got their own people into office. That could have been when it started, because before, in that central Brooklyn and Brooklyn where I lived in, it wasn't Caribbean people in these local offices, elected offices. It was regular either Jewish people, either Jewish people or Latino people. It was no Caribbean people. And after a while, that changed. That changed. So I'm guessing that's probably when they stopped doing Black Solidarity Day, was when they was able to get their own people in office. Maybe third, fourth, fifth generation, because they've been there since the 30s, mind you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and this was like in the 80s, the crack came. Um, it was so bad out here that mothers were leaving the babies in the hospitals, and the hospitals were over stocked with crack babies. And Mother Hell in Harlem, she opened up her house. She couldn't save all the crack babies, but Mother Hell did what she could. Her house, she had a brownstone over there 2 blocks from the Apollo Theater. Mother Hell, and she took care of about 30 crack babies, and she couldn't save all because it was hundreds of crack babies. And the crack, it was just so freaking bad, man. And then you got to realize this was in the 80s, you know, and I'm saying that to say that in 84 they put out the last of the 83 or 84, they bombed the last of the Black Panthers in Philadelphia, right? Crack came out and took everybody out because they was like, we're not gonna let no more niggas even think about trying to do right. Like, we can't let this happen. And that crack was intentional. That crack was made in the lab to fuck with people's DNA. That's what I believe. Well, I already know it was made in the lab, but I'm literally thinking it was specifically made to tailor to ADOS DNA, right? And then you gotta, cause them people was doing anything like having sex with animals, and these drug dealers was recording shit like that. They was recording shit like that. Bestiality, sucking and fucking, all types of shit for a little piece of rock. Selling their babies, yo. Like, yeah, you want to have sex with my kid? You know what I'm saying? They was doing that. I'm telling y'all, they was doing that. They was doing that shit for crack, right? And then whatever crack babies survived, you know, whatever crack babies survived in the 80s, those are the millennials today. Those are the Black millennials today. Those are the Black millennials today. Whatever babies survived, the crack epidemic are your today's millennials in the Black so-called Black community. And boy, I tell you, I hate to say it, but it's I just I'm not even gonna say it, but those crack babies also had babies, right? Those crack babies also had babies. You know what I'm saying? And these are the people that you see all the time being sacrificed, you know, killing each other, um, killing themselves. Um, yeah, these are the people you see doing this, whether they have an education and a degree or not. You know what I'm saying? These are the people you see doing this. And I'm just going to leave it at that because that's where we're at now on Juneteenth, celebrating the freedom of American descendants of slavery who ain't really free, and they got a whole generation of crap babies and a whole nother generation of crap babies that had crap babies. You know what I'm saying? It's just sad. It's just sad, and it's just sad. And a lot of those, I believe, are the ones that are being sacrificed right now. Those are the ones that are being sacrificed. Those are the ones that are, are easily influenced to listen to people like the young lady from Brooklyn. I saw this video from Black Girl Lost, the young lady from Brooklyn who was groomed for 3 years over the internet by some Pombagira sex cult. And I remember this fucking sex cult from 12 years ago when I first started. Boy, I tell you. Boy, I tell you. Listen, yes, unfortunately, that child is a baby of a crap baby, and she was influenced um, by a sex cult, a Pombagira sex cult. I wrote about, I taught about that Pombagira, the difference between Pombagira and the sacred whore, because Pombagira is more like, you know, I even wrote about it. I'll probably do that like in a private live, but this poor child was groomed over the internet, over Facebook, Instagram for 3 or 4 years. And they got her. Ain't no telling what they did with that girl. Either sold her or still got her kidnapped, locked up somewhere, or sex trafficking her. Is no fucking telling. It's just so sad, It's just so sad. She's just a baby. She's like 21, 22. She left her. I think she lived in the projects in Brooklyn in Linden houses, and her mother even looks young. Her mother looks like she probably had him when she was 15. You know what I'm saying? And the girl just left. They lied to her and told her that they had an artist job for her because the girl did graphic design work for them online once already before. That's probably how they lured her in, and then they said, well, you come to Washington, D.C., I got another job for you. But for any of you young people out here listening, young men, young women, for any of y'all listening, just know this is the 21st century. You don't gotta fucking travel nowhere to do shit now. Like everything is fucking online. You can communicate and do every fucking thing online. You can even see the people that you're talking to on the phone online. If there's any work that you need to do, you can do it right where the fuck you are. You don't have to fucking go any fucking where. You can do it right where the fuck you are. If there's any fucking if there's for any reason why you can't fax somebody some shit or send somebody an email of your work or fax them your work or inbox them your work, listen, the United States Postal Service will guarantee that that person will get your shit. They will guarantee that, okay? The United States Postal Service. It is a federal crime to fuck with anything in the United States Postal Service that does not belong to you, or you're doing some type of crime or some type of stuff. They don't play. Their Postal Service police don't play. They don't play. So if For any reason you can't send your work through a fax machine, I don't know if y'all even know what a fax machine is, but or through the internet or through the email or through the inbox or through your phone, then you send that shit through the post office. You send it through the post office. That's what you do. You don't get no bus ticket to go anywhere. That money you spend on a bus ticket, you can spend 1/3 of that by sending it through the post office, okay? And put the rest of the money in your pocket and go get you some ice cream. All right? Boy, that's just so sad. But yeah, they groomed that girl 3 years and she's been missing for a month. And I hope they find that girl alive. I hope they find that girl alive. But that's where we at. Juneteenth, 2022. That's where we at right now. We're celebrating the freedom of American descendants of slavery during Gay Pride Month. You know, that's where we're at. That's exactly where we're at. So I'm gonna go. I've been on here for 3 hours, and yeah, Rich Porter. That's the one they made the movie about. Yeah, like none of them people are like heroes to me, but out here in New York, they keep, talking about these people like they some fucking heroes and shit. And they not. They sold fucking crack. They sold fucking crack and had people strung out here where, motherfuckers was having sex with animals to smoke a fucking rock pipe. So like they not heroes. They not heroes to me. And the Caribbean people out here that was doing the same thing ain't heroes to me. None of these people are heroes. No drug dealer is a hero to me. Like no fucking drug dealer is a fucking hero to me. Like I spit on them. I don't care. I spit on them. Like you're not a hero to me. That's just fucking crazy. That's like mm, like you're not a hero to me. Like even China Mac, the rapper from Chinatown, even the heroin they was getting from China and all the way from China, the country China, and getting it in Chinatown, they wasn't even selling that to their own people. They was coming across over here on the Lower East Side, selling it to the Negroes in the Latin Hispanics. They wasn't even fucking with that shit when they was fucking with the heroin. They was selling it to the Negroes and the Hispanics. So I have no motherfucking, I like spit. Those niggas are not heroes. They out here making movies about them, making documentaries about them on YouTube. I mean, let that shit go. They not no fucking hero. They not no fucking hero. They not no fucking heroes. That's all I'm gonna say about that. They ain't no fucking heroes. You know what I'm saying? Selling that fucking crack to their own fucking people and shit. You know? But anyway, yeah, and the crack babies who are the millennials, they had babies. They had babies. And boy, I tell you, that's where we at in Juneteenth. American descendants of slavery. That's where we at. Can't buy no gas. Can't buy no food. You know, can't pay their rent. Living in the cars. Living in the street. You know, just totally screwed. But everybody else got paid today. I guarantee you, everybody else got paid and is doing good thanks to the commercialization of Juneteenth of freedom of the Negro. You know, I know my sons got paid today, and they didn't have to work. Shit, they got government jobs. Yep. But I'm gonna just leave it at that. Cause it's late. I've been on here for 3 hours and I got class tomorrow. I got I got class. I got an exam tomorrow. And I got some work to do tomorrow, and I got to be up early. So, I don't know. I'll be back. I don't know if Spirit has anything else for me to say. I'll be back. But if if not, everybody just stay safe. Everybody stay safe, and don't forget to watch that video that's in my light playlist about Jesse Peterson being a sexual predator. And if you didn't hear what I said about that, just rewind to the beginning because I had fun talking about that shit. That shit is so funny. But okay, everyone. Everyone have a good night. And I'll talk to you later. Later.